Hello, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and welcome to Sports Marketing, Marketing 105, fully online, offered by Harper College. Okay, here's what's going to do. Every week, I'm going to give you like a 20-minute overview what you need to do. Right now, I had my orientation was yesterday, but I had like 4 or 5 students out of 22 students who showed up. So the rest of you, you lost those points. Those who came, you got 10 points. Don't worry, you have a lot of points to make up. We're going to have one more water cooler where it's an open discussion with the webcam and microphone for talking, and that will be sometime in the middle of maybe in the 6th week. And I will, within the discussion board, find a time that almost everyone could see. For others, what I want you to do is look. I'm going to show you how to look into what I recorded, and I gave you some ideas, some information about what is required for this course or how this course is going forward, so you don't freak out when you look at the syllabi and you look at everything else. So this is going to be every week. You're going to have a 20-minute. Here's what you did well last week. Here's what you have to focus on this week. Okay, so we're going to go into, for some of you, you're new to the college, so I'm not here teaching you Blackboard. You should talk to the help desk. They'll tell you how to log into Blackboard, and through your student portal, they'll give you basic information. It's not hard. It's an easy system to learn. Okay, so you're going to come into Blackboard, and I've got the class open. It started Monday. Even though I said we will start off like Wednesday because Tuesday was Lincoln's birthday, so school was off. Some people are sending me emails, they're not going to be there. Okay, fine. We're up and running. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to go into, I'm going to show you real quickly what you need to do to survive this class and end up with your B's and A's that you want. Most of my students will get the B's and A's. You have to do the work, and then you'll get the grade. It's an easy class. Well, easy. Any class is easy. You got to do some testing and everything else with the effort you put into it. Okay, so you're going to come in here. You always see my smiley face. This is the book that's required. I think someone in our discussion yesterday says about $97 used. If you buy it outright, you could. I think Harper also has the ability that you could rent it, or you could buy it someplace else, and they have a price match. So if you find someplace cheaper, you could. Hey, I found it here cheaper. I want that price. That's what I've been told. Remember, I'm a contractor for the college, so let's take that for what it's worth. Okay. All right, now what you're going to do, yesterday you were in the orientation and you went into Blackboard Collaborate. So you already did that. I want you to update your profile, and that when I go in here, I'll show you. I already send you links in advance. For those of you, better check your Harper email, because that's the only way I communicate with you, either to a discussion board, a Harper email, or to Blackboard Ultra Collaborate. All right. So if you have any, so find out, call help, tell them how I could get my email sent to my smartphone, so you're always in tune. Anything you send to me has to be with the Harper email. You want to do well in this class, this is a good class. It's a learning class. It's a marketing class. Only focus on the sports element or an entertainment of marketing, and how do I get customers to either buy my product, buy my items I'm trying to sell, T-shirts, sports items, or basically how I come in there and bring spectators into a venue, and that could be anywhere from the Cubs, the Blackhawks, the Bulls. I'm trying to hit them all. It doesn't make a difference. How do I? Those are very specific. But most of what you'll be learning out of this class is I have a sports bar, or I have a store to sell sports items, T-shirts, whatever. How do I get people into my business? All right, remember, it's a marketing class, so you're going to learn about marketing. It's not. There was no prerequisites. So some of you have a little bit more information than others, but I'll try to encompass everything else so everyone understands. Okay, now what you're going to find out on your Blackboard, you sign into your Blackboard, you have all these weekly quizzes, weekly journals, weekly handouts, weekly discussions, weekly assignments. What I want you to do, you go into the weekly assignments, and I have everything all set up. These are if you want to go outside, you want to go through the weekly assignments, and you want to do some work either ahead or work that was previously done, and here's how you could go in there and complete that. But otherwise, if you don't know anything, because I set this up because I have some people who are brand new to Blackboard, I have others that been a Blackboard for a while, so you understand that, and so it gives you different ways of approaching this online class. Don't feel bad. you'll do well in this class. You still will, instead of having discussions in the classroom, the discussion board is where we'll do, or forum is where makes up that time in there. Okay, so you make sure you always check your grades. You click on here, and here's your grade. You're always going to have your current letter grade. This is where you're at right now. Here's the papers. Now, if you look, you're going to do homework assignment papers, and I'll walk you through that. Those assignment papers are worth 40 points, and they're due at, all your homework is due at the end of uh, the class starts Monday and ends on Saturday midnight, for lack of a better word. Sunday you should be already preparing for the next week. But I think I have everything open up to Sunday for my late things. Don't wait till last minute to do it. Do it ahead of time. Do a little bit here, a little bit here, and you'll be very successful, like you would have to do in business. Time management is very important. Due dates are very important. All right, so you have the grade, and here's just your percentage of your the grade that you have. Okay, so you don't want to fall behind. Fall behind, pick up and say, hey, I got all last week. I don't have a time. Go in week 2, go forward. Remember, we've got 12 weeks in this class. You do fine on that. All right. So here's what you do. You're gonna so you check your grades. You always should go into my weekly assignments, for lack of better words. I'm just bring down my music a little bit. Hang on a second. I'm trying to bring my. I got background music to keep me going. There you go. Sounds a little bit better. All right. So you're going to go to weekly assignment. This tells you everything that's done. Here's the orientation, February 13th, Wednesday. Look, if you missed the orientation, look at it. I'll show you how to do it. You go into here. Let me show you how to do the orientation. You click on Blackboard thing. It's already done. All right. Remember, Blackboard collaborates. I'm new. This session is how you update your picture. But you could come up in here when you're in here and you click on the menu and you go recordings. And then you'll basically new class recording, and what you'll do, you click on that, and nothing happens. There we go. Uh, it should be going new class recordings. All right, I'll open it up, but it should be able. You'll be able to look at that. So oh, right, watch now. I'm sorry. All right. So you got me in there, you got other students in there, and you should be doing all right. And so this way, at least you know the questions that were asked because you weren't in the orientations. I just basically went over what was required, and so you have that. It takes a few minutes. A little slow today because of the weather, but anyway, so you can look at that as added. I'm not going to go in here because I want to keep this under 20 minutes. Okay, so now we're back into our weekly assignments. You're going to come in here and tells you everything you're going to do. View my minutes YouTube lectures that you're kind of looking at now, and my other thing, chapter 1, chapter 2 is what we were talking about. Read the book. Then you have a written assignment that's worth 40 points, and then you basically take the quiz, and then you have a reflection. Reflections at the end of the week. By Sunday, you'll say, Dr. George, when I looked at chapter Emergent Sports, I didn't realize how many sports activities are there. I didn't realize breeding was a sport. I'm only kidding, it's not. But different activities, just a general idea about what sports marketing is, how it's marketing, focusing on the element of sports activities to make money. I mean, I'm not talking about different players unless some way I get the player to endorse something on my product or something else. Otherwise, it's all, or the player does something wrong, how do I jump on the bandwagon, or the team does something well, or whatever, and how do I utilize that to bring customers into my venue or buy my products, or for lack of better words, come into the game to say, hey, I want to see this guy, I want his autograph, or gal. Doesn't make a difference because you see with sports marketing, it's both equal men and women. So, and right now, women, you control the money, and a lot of the sports activities try to get more women involved into these different kind of venues into sports, since you are very active in sports also. And how do I bring in and cash in on your loyalty to your team, for lack of better words. Okay, so we've got that. So and here is basically the PowerPoints on here. For week 1, intro PowerPoints, and then week 2, PowerPoints. So you always have that provided in here, and you can find them in here under student activities. You'll find you got my concept maps. Remember, look at my concept maps. You click on my concept maps, and just they are by chapter, and they're a quick overview of what's required for the class. So if you want to do a study, so if I look at my concept maps, I click on, let's say, intro to business, and print them out. And here's your full concept maps, a PDF file. It tells you everything that's in the book in a real in 2 pages, and then you could add on to it or anything else. I try to get rid of all the fluff and just go right into the heart. What are you supposed to know? So this way you at least have the main concept. So when you're responding into your paper, you know how to use some of the vocabulary which is required. And if you're doing your final presentation, your final paper on the team that you're or a product or something that you want to sell or market, utilizing what you've learned out of this course, it's required some of the vocabulary. You have this is like a vocabulary with short definitions on it. All right, so it's available, and this is basically, if you look at your PowerPoints, about like 35 PowerPoints. It's all down into 2 pages, minimized. Okay, so you got that. So you've got the PowerPoints. You've got that. Let's go back to my weekly assignment. If you're not sure, let's say that weekly assignments. All right, so here's what's required for the week. I got 25 students or 20 students, give or take. Some sign up and forget they sign up and don't come to class. Normally, when I run this class, I get like about 20 students run through to make it through there. They'll get their B's and A's. Okay, so you're going to have this as a quick overview. You already had that. I sent that out to you. This is how to update my profile. Okay, you had to take your first quiz, and quizzes in Blackboard. You click on it, and then you have 1 hour. It takes 20 questions, chapter 1 and 2, and then you begin. The way I do the quizzes are next week you have chapter 3, you'll do a quiz. There's no final exam in this class. What there is basically a final paper, a final PowerPoint presentation, this narrative, or a short YouTube you telling me about it. We're looking at sports marketing, social media. Most of you already have some kind of followings, or some of you some kind of social media activities. You know, insist, let's leave it at that. We'll work on it. Don't freak out. You do fine, okay? All right, so do the quiz. Quizzes are all due by Saturday midnight. Make sure you do them. 20 points and you have it done. Okay, so I'm going to cancel here. Can't take my own quiz. Okay, I'm going to go back into my weekly assignments. I moved out of there. I always go back to weekly assignment. So I finish the quiz. I come back in here. It's just the way I got it set up. Blackboard's got a little quirk in that. Here's your discussion board. Make sure you come in and discuss yourself. So basically, here's how it's going to work. You're going to have your quiz assignments. You know, read the chapter. We're going to talk about it in the discussion board that replaces the lecture in the classroom. Then you're going to click on this, and you're going to introduce yourself. For those of you who know, look, I got a lot of people already in there. If you're brand new in here, you click on the thread, and that's where you go. You can come in here. I'm George from Chicago. All right, put that information in there, and then give me some stuff on here, and you submit it. Very easy. And the other thing now, if I want to respond to George from Chicago, I'll click on that right, and I've got my comments, whatever I said, and then I'm going to go reply, and I go, hey, George, I'm from Chicago. Chicago also. Very easy, all right, Dr. George. All right, and then you submit it and you're done. Remember, part of the discussion board is that you have to post by Wednesday the latest. Tuesday is what's recommended. By Wednesday the latest. If you post later than that, then I start taking points off the discussion board. If I'm mistaken on the discussion board, let's see, I've got my syllabus. I'll go into that real quickly. Make sure you look at the syllabus. That was what the orientation was about. If you had any questions, weekly discussions were 20 points. So it means you will post to my first posting. And here I just said, introduce yourself, tell me something about yourself, what sports you like, blah, blah, blah. And then you respond to me, I'll respond to you. And now you're required to respond to, for lack of better words, 3 or 4 more students within the class, depending on how large the class is. If I'm only down to 15, then, 3. If I got 25, which the class is supposed to have, then you respond to 3 or 4 or 5. Remember, your first posting by Tuesday midnight, responding to me, and then during the week. I don't want everything else done on Saturday midnight. You're responding to my post and for the student. That's not a discussion board. That's a download. You're downloading. Part of customers and anything else, you want to have that interaction. Respond to me. I ask you a question, come back, and say I agree with you. So far, so good. All right. So that's your discussion board. Okay. So let me go back in here. I got my discussion board, weekly discussions. Right? Or you could go into that way. What I want you to go back into my weekly assignments. Always go back to weekly assignments where you have all your week. Next week, by Monday, week 1 is closed. You lost it. Let's go for it. It's not like you do it all at one time when you get the mood. You still have a week work of homework. You do it within the week, anytime within the week, back and forth. And then after the week is gone, it's finished. It's not like you have the 12 weeks to do it whenever you feel like it. This is still like in business. I have face-to-face customers, and I also have e-commerce or customers or marketing campaigns, social media that I am active with to get people interested and motivated into my products or my venue. And you can't just do it all at the end right before the game. You build on the customer base. You keep on giving, talk, get back, and that's what you call a discussion, not just all download one thing. All right, so you've got that. Now, so I'll move my quiz up here so you know you have that. And then I'll move your discussion board. So those who log in, that's all required. Now your paper. Now on this one here, you're just going to do a regular paper. Just so you know, out of the book, you got the book here. I got the book here on page one, number 1 and 8 on page 42. You answer the paper and respond to it, and then you also have in the chapter 2, the next chapter, question 6 and question 8, and you respond to it and you write. It's a regular college level paper for you to write because you have to write it across the curriculum, and you'll respond to it. So I think the papers are due. Let me see how much points I have. I should just leave this out. The papers are due. There's like about 8 or 10 papers due, and they're worth 40 points. Out of those papers, when you do next week, you're going to do a paper again. But part of that paper that you have you respond to me. I'm the only one going to be reading it. You respond to me. That paper is going to be basically it's going to be going into it's going to be part of your discussion also. Going forward, I don't like busy work. So when you do your paper, the question will be very specific, but then in a week or two, you're going to decide what product or service you want to create some kind of marketing campaign that we're going to, that what you've learned out of all those chapters, you're going to implement like a strategic plan, how I'm going to bring in George's Bar and how I'm going to bring more women into George's Bar, or what do you call it? I'm a high school coach, and I'm trying to bring more people to come to the games, whether it's soccer or whatever. And how do I get them going, other than just the family members that are on the team, but other people, other students coming in? How do I motivate them? How do I? That's all sports marketing. How do I bring them in? How do I get them going? So then I could sell my products or pay for the venue that I'm sponsoring. Okay, so going forward, so you'll do the paper, you'll submit it to me. It's going to be a paragraph. Basically, I got a rubric in here, and I'll show you the rubric. But I'm kind of looking at least a paragraph for each question. It's an essay, not 1 word or 2 words, and I want it out of your own words. Don't try to copy word for word out of a book. Part of marketing, everything else, to put into here's a complicated idea, and how do I make it less complicated and understandable to who my audience is. I market a little differently if I'm marketing to high school kids than I market to baby boomer, or than I market to Generation Z or Generation Y. Remember, they got a little different way how they take information, a little different way of their value systems, or how they look at things in life, and that's part of being a marketing. I understand my customer base, my consumer base. What do they think other than their age and what group do you fall in there? Okay. Remember, there's 2 types of individual in sports marketing class. You have participants; those are actually still playing the game, and spectators. And sometimes participating and spectators are both the same. Or me, I'm just more of a spectator now. Okay? And how do I spectate? So I'm watching the game, and then you're telling me all the other commercials are in there, other than for other companies that are utilizing that platform to sell their products, and then I'm using that platform to bring them in. That's how marketing works. It's different areas coming in at one central point, promoting products and services that's very specific to that audience type. In this case, the sports type of individual. So how you do the papers? Again, this is due by Sunday. Don't wait till last minute because you lose points. You'll be disheartened. Okay, so you come in here. Here's the rubrics, and click on the rubrics. It tells you everything else required for the paper. Here's I'm looking at organization, quality, mechanics, a conceptual understanding, summary, and have some sources if you utilize some sources. If not, I mean, it depends on the question what I'm asking for. Most of it's an online class, so you'll be the book does real good by giving you different sources, different websites, different information. Excellent book if you're looking not only for sports marketing but for marketing in general, how to do research and get data. So save the book. You could sell it. $100, I'd keep it. I mean, especially it's some books that I would keep. Other ones, okay, I get rid of it. But this one here is just for the data and the sites and everything else that's included in this book. Excellent. All right, that's my 2 cents on there. And then you have to use a Microsoft Word. The document has to be submitted in Microsoft Word. That means I see a DOC or DOCX. The only thing that the Blackboard will read, because I don't open up at home, it's submitted through Blackboard, and this is your course management. So your homework and everything else in here, even after you finish this class, you go 3 years later, oh, why did I get this grade? It's still embedded in there. It's archived, and you can pull it out. Or you could use a PDF file. That's the only two files. I'd rather have the Word document. I understand some students are saying, I don't have Word, I use Google Docs. Google Docs is similar, but it doesn't convert exactly, and Blackboard does not read it. So if I can't read it, I can't grade it. If I can't grade it, you don't pass. All right, you get an F on that. That's just the way it is. Welcome to my world. Welcome to business. These are the requirements, and this is how I send information out. If I'm using different platforms, I can't change the platform. I have to utilize this platform. Harper, to your student portal, you look up there, say Office 365, download it. It's free to the students on your laptop or on your desktop. All you need is your Harper email ID and password, and you're good for the semester. Next semester, they just ask you that you're still a student here at Harper, and you just re-authenticate that again, and then you're good for another semester. It doesn't cost you, it's like a $700 program. It's free. It's not really free. It's part of your student activity fees. Okay? So you have that. So I'll exit that. And that's how I'm going to be grading you. Answer questions 1 to 2. And here's how I want the submissions. This comment area here is for you to give me comments, not the paper. You don't submit your paper. This is comments. Hey, Dr. George, how you doing? What you want to do, you could write submissions. Some instructors will tell you write submissions. What I want you to do is attach a document, Word document. That's the way I want it. So you click it on here, and then you're going to go in here, and you're going to find a Word document, this PC. Let's see what I have in here. I got a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, so this is mine. I go Word document, and let's see. I'll just go. This is a Microsoft. I can't find any Word documents here. Okay, here's a marketing class. Okay, so we do an overview. Okay, and none of these are Word. I'm not doing too good on this class here, am I? All right, course marketing, Microsoft homework assignments. Okay, these are all Word documents. And so, okay, it's the first one. So I'll put it in here. You will do this is how you do your homework assignment. Now, don't rewrite the question. After 20 students write, I know what question 1 is. I know what question 2. I want you to label. This is question 1. Here's my response. A paragraph or more. Here's question 2. Here's my response. A paragraph more. Written at a college level. You can write more than a paragraph. Here's question 3. That's all I want, and put your name on there, and you're all right. When you do the submission, so you see, here's my homework assignment, and then and here's where you put the comment. Let me know if you can't open it. And enjoy the read. Okay? Oops, too much. It does have spell checks, so it'd be good. All right, submit it, and you're done. When I get it, I'll look at it. Right, the assignment submission is not saved, and it can't because I'm an instructor. I can't save it to myself, but that's basically what you'll be doing. All right. So that's how you submit your homework on here. And now the other thing you have, here's a quick overview, how to update my written assignment. This is just giving you a rubric and what the assignment is. I put it in there. Maybe it's just too much information because you have it on there. But I'll leave it here for the first week. Next week, I won't put it in there. It'll be all embedded, and you already know how to submit it. And I'll have which questions you need and the rubrics in there. I just give you a little bit more for in here. This is a lecture on Chapter 1 because I do some of my lectures. I'll do them online. This traditional lecture going through the mind map, and so you understand how to use that tool, and you should be good. Now you have a journal entry. So this one just tells you how to enter the journal entry. If I ain't mistaken, it's just outcome. Let me see what I have in here, because this is a Word document. What you'll do in a journal entry, let me make a connection here for you. I'm live. If you know a lot of my recordings, I don't edit. Here's what you get, just like if you had me in the classroom. And I'm going to create a course link, which I probably forgot. I'm going to browse. This is me. You don't have that activity, but I'm doing in here, and I'm going to go weekly journal. And I think this is the one. Okay, so I click on that. Yes, and I submit it. So I should be able to go into my weekly journal. Here's just a rubric for the journal. I'll move this one up here. So what's going to happen at the end of the week? Here's how the journal goes. You do discussion board. You do this. You click on the journal. And then basically you're going to come in here, and week one is going to be the only one available for you, in week two. So you click on this, and all you're going to do, you do an entry, and here you do, let's see, here's a journal entry, create a journal entry, and you're just going to type it in, and you're going to go week one, or whatever you want to do, chapter one, what I learned, or I want to talk to you, whatever. You know what I mean? I use this for you to tell me what you learned over the week. Remember, I can't have you face to face. I look at discussion, but usually at the end of the week, I say, "Hey, what did you learn out of this chapter? I picked up this." So then you're gonna write something of, yeah, 4 or 5 sentences or more if you want. I learned this, blah blah, 5 easy points, and then, oh, by the way, Dr. George, I have a problem here, or I want to talk to you. Could we connect somehow to Blackboard Collaborate? That's how I do my online connections. I'll set up a time, and you and me, you have your web camera, and we will discuss. And the reason I need the web camera and everything else to make sure I'm talking to the right person, and know when I'm not talking to your mother, your father, or your loved one, but I'm talking to George, I'm talking to Sally, whoever you're on there. Okay, so we good on that? And then you say, I learned from chapter one that sports is encompassing of everything, all the way from walking to playing bingo and everything. That's all considered underneath the sports arena. So it's got a big. When you look at the book, you're saying, "Holy mackerel! I didn't realize all that sports. Just walking back and forth is a sports and activity, or we call it jogging or walking, or whatever. You know what I mean? Or you have your drones. You're playing having your drones fly around. It's kind of a sport. Some people look at that. There's so much encompassed. Remember, sports is an entertainment. Anything that makes you active, and I could get you to connect with me. That's what this whole class is about. All right, so you do that at the end, and you're done. So here's what you're going to do. So let's go back to our weekly assignments. Here's what's going to happen every week. You're going to see a video of me explaining what you did right, what you didn't do right. You're going to go into your weekly assignment. Next week, week two will be open. Week two is closed. And you're going to do your journal entries always at the end. You're going to do your quiz one after you read the book. You can do it anytime within the week. There's no time limit. I mean, there is like 60 minutes, 1 hour for 20 questions. You should do well. All right. And then the discussion board, you should do your first post to me by Tuesday, for lack of better words, by midnight, so people could talk back and forth, and you create a discussion, a forum. A forum means discussion, talking to people, not a download all at Saturday. If you do it all on Saturdays, if you look at the discussion board, there's also a rubric, if I ain't mistaken. I didn't do a rubric on this one, but I do on the next one. And it says your post got to be by Tuesday, midnight, and then I start taking points off. So if you do everything else, you're 20. If you talk to everybody and everything on Saturday, you post to me and respond to 20, 20 students, you're gonna get maybe a C or a B because you're not discussing, you're downloading. Remember, it's not mass marketing. This is interactive marketing. That's what sports is about. Interactive. I'm part of this team. I get all excited when I see my team win. All interaction, not a passive type of. Even a spectator gets all look at the Super Bowl, all fired up about that. Okay. And then you submit your paper, right? Submit your paper. I did this 30 points, supposed to be 40 according to this. I'll adjust that real quickly, so you'll do all right. Maybe I'll do it right now. I'm in here, edit. Okay, my paper. And let's see, I'll just go in here. It's 40 points. I have it in there just so you know. Hey, boy, these are worth a lot of points here, okay? You have 40 points, and I basically have 40 in there, so as not to confuse you, right? I don't want to be bait and switch. And then this is all at the end. I did this early because we're almost at the end of the week. But you do the discussion board will be first. You submit your paper will be next, so you know it. You do your quiz. I got it in order. That's what it's going to be. You quiz one, okay, I got it. And then at the end, you do your journal. Here's what I learned, and you should be good. And this way, you're learning. Remember, the whole thing is about repetition. Some of the other classes I teach, you have software that keeps on asking questions over and over. Those you have Pearson, my Biz Lab, my Finance Lab, or McGraw-Hill, Learn Smart, or Connect. They're basically software to help you over and over questions, so then you understand the vocab. Here's how you learn the vocab: through the writing, to explaining them in the discussion and everything else. And then you should update your profile. Make sure I see your picture, because when you're in the discussion board, if I look at the discussion board, once you have your pictures in there, it's easier to follow the threads. And then I have that in this. what do you call it? How to update my Blackboard profile. Real easy. Have a web camera. A lot of people have or a smartphone. Just upload your picture, and you're done. And so that will upload anything in Blackboard, so other people or the instructors, when they're looking at the grade, they know who you are. That's all I'm trying to get out of here. If it's because of a cultural reason, you don't want to update your picture because you want people to know it, welcome to my world in sports marketing. You're not going to go very far unless you start having a presence, and it's a physical presence. That's what's expected. You could put in, like, okay, put in a logo of the Sox, put in a logo of, or something else that I know you know how to upload to remove the silhouette. Try to get your picture. You're going into marketing. You're going to business. Look at me. I'm older. I got pictures all over. What the hell? Give me a break, class, all right? Get yourself, this is the 27th. If I look at your social media, you got your pictures all over. LinkedIn, if you take me for management or for HR or for anything else, basically what's going to happen, LinkedIn is basically got my picture. If you don't have your picture, no one's going to ever post you. You're not going to be in anybody's committee. You don't know who you are. If you're afraid to show who you are, you're not going to be successful as a business person. Part of business is to be out there, and that's just the environment. It's all electronic. Everybody knows you. Look, everyone's watching you. Cameras all over. Hey, might as well just utilize that as a tool, and that's what marketing is about. What's current, connect with the people, connect with them, talk to them. You know, that's what social media, alternate news, different sites are out there. They're interactive, talking. All right, so that's it. Let's see how many minutes I got. So remember, what do? You respond to my discussion board first thing by Tuesday. You respond to other people within the week, anytime in the night and day. Yeah, you then basically read the book. First thing, read the book. Look at the easy reading book. Answer these questions. Kind of solidifies you. Then you remember going forward, your questions will be part of your discussion board. Think of a business or a product you want to start. That you're going to do some kind of marketing campaign that's sports orientated, because that's what this class is about. And then you're going to take your quiz one and you do a reflection paper, and you're gone. Before you know it, this class will be over. You'll get your B's, you'll get your A's, and you. I set this up so you'll be very successful on an online and more of an interactive session. And those of you who did not look at with the orientation that I had with 4 or 5 students, they got the points. You missed the points. Move forward. Don't freak out. There's like 1,200 points, 1,275 points total on here. Make sure you come in here, pull up your syllabi. Remember, I got my syllabus. I got a right here PDF file. And then it tells you everything about it, how you get a hold of me, what's required, the book, you know what I mean? And here's what's required. You have your journals where it's 3%, your weekly discussions where 23%, 25%, a quarter of your grade is your discussion boards. That's how you learn, through talking. And your assignments, another 33%, and your quizzes are 20%, which is not bad. You know what I mean? Your journal entries, easy 5 points. You just tell them at the end, I learned something. Your quiz is 20%. You're not real, you know, so if you don't do well on this, you can still get your B's and A's. And then your final PowerPoint, you can do either PowerPoint or short YouTube. We'll talk about that because, you know, I've got students, I'll show you some examples work well. And then your final papers were 12%. So here's another 25. Very manageable, but don't do it all at the end. Manage your time. Little here, little here, little here. Read, do this, and you do well. Okay? So how many minutes do I got? I'm hoping I got under 25. 32 minutes, a half an hour. That's okay. This is the first one. Next week when I do this, I'm just going to say, hey, you didn't do good on the discussion board. Here's why you didn't get all the points. Blah, blah, blah. Here's what we're going forward. Let's move on. I'll try to keep them under 10, 15 minutes. And every week, so you have like a quick overview what you should focus on and what you shouldn't focus on. That's current. That's the way this class is going forward. Again, thank you very much for signing up for this class. And if you haven't done your homework, keep on doing it. You still got till Sunday midnight. Don't wait till last minute. If you miss it, start the week 2. And then after you're going, then say, hey, Dr. George, is some way I can make some of this other stuff up. But I'm not going to open anything else up. Go for it. Remember, in business, I missed a date. On the sports, I missed a play. Do I cry about it? It's gone. I missed it. I blew it. Try to do forward. The game is still gone. It's only in the first inning. Let's go. Or the first quarter. We still could make it up. Or I'm at the last quarter. I can still win if I'm really good. You don't give up. Okay? You just move forward. That's how I want this thing here. All right? So I'm Dr. Jordan Mochocki. I'll be your instructor, your consultant, your coach. your teacher. I can't teach you anything if you don't want to learn. I could just show you, and you'll learn on your own, and you'll do very well in this class. And I'll see you on the discussion board. Goodbye.